Hi, I'm Judy Shaw on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange. Joining me today for another segment of NYSE Icebreakers is Paul Rabil and Mike Rabil, the co-founders of the Premier Lacrosse League. Thanks for joining me, gentlemen.
Thanks for having us, Judy.
It's great to have you back.
Absolutely.
So before we start, I have an icebreaker question for you. Pick a
first.
card.
All right. Heard about these. First, happy
Yes.
Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's
To
Day.
you and everyone out there. Okay.
Okay, Paul, you go
All right.
first.
This
What's
is
your
a
card?
difficult one. What do you like to do in your spare time?
Do you have any spare time?
I don't have spare time right now, but what I do like to enjoy is dinner with friends and family. Like my brother is the co-founder and CEO of this business, and I like music and I like art.
Okay.
All right.
And Mike, how about you?
So, if we came to your office
Ooh,
and looked on your desk,
I
what
love
would we
this one.
find? You would find a computer.
Okay.
You would find a water bottle, and you would find a picture of our family.
Okay, that's
and,
very nice.
You know, we got to be reminded of what grounds us. One of our values at the PLL is actually stay grounded. So having a picture of why we're doing this and what's really important is on my desk.
That's great. All right, love that. All right, let's get into it now.
Sure.
So last time we spoke, the Premier Lacrosse League was newly launched. Let's give the audience an update on the Lacrosse League and what it's all about.
Sure. So we launched the PLL on October 22nd. We were here on the 23rd, and that was around our seed round of financing that was led by Rain Ventures, CAA Churning Group, at the time, and we're here today to discuss our Series A, where Rain followed on, Joe Tai Sports, as well as Brett Jefferson from Hildene Capital. But what we do is two things, really. We're taking lacrosse to the masses by building a functional professional league that's revolutionary in that it's tour-based. So we have the best players in the world, and we have a major media rights deal with NBC, where we have 19 programming windows on television this summer, and then the other 19 games are going to be on NBCSports.com and NBC Gold. So we view pro lacrosse as, most importantly, you have the top players and the best competition on field. That's keen for any sport. And secondarily, that you have distribution. And by having this tour-based model, which is third, is we're able to optimize for the experience for the fans and the players by going to premium venues like MLS stadiums, and those will be announced soon.
Ooh, okay. So you just mentioned about Joe Tai. He's an investor. This is new. This is big news.
Yeah.
So tell me about that partnership.
Sure. You know, Joe has been a mentor for Paul for a long time, and I've become recently close to him as well. He's been tracking our business for a while. I think any successful operator and entrepreneur like himself wants to be methodical and thoughtful, and so he's been tracking us, making sure we've hit certain milestones. And after we hit those milestones, we went back to him and said, you know, you have an affinity towards lacrosse.
Right.
He played at Yale,
Right.
and you're also a business builder. And that's what we're doing. We're building business that is a sports league as well, and we want that expertise as an entrepreneur involved, as there's plenty of blind spots we have, and we want people, especially our investors, to help cover those blind spots.
So now the PLL, it's going to be tour-based.
That's right.
Why do you think that's going to be successful? Why is that beneficial?
Yeah, so there's a few reasons. One, I mentioned optimized for the professional venues. In traditional team sports leagues, whether you take the NBA or the NFL, those owners own their venues. So they're able to select the times pairing with the network programming availabilities. We know that the network programming availabilities, your distribution of your product, is most important. And while we don't own venues, as most non-Big Four sports leagues don't, we said, how can we book the network first? Let's find available programming windows, then solve for it. So with all of the state-of-the-art venues that are available, we are able to book after securing our programming windows over the course of the weekend. That tour-based model means that all 6 of our teams descend upon that major market city and play in that venue. Secondarily is what we've seen with sports consumers is a trend because of new media like this exactly, following athletes and choosing their teams and their affinity for brands of teams based on their favorite players. So we wanted to capitalize on that. And then third is we really feel like having a tour-based model with 6 teams gives our team and our league that national prominence. For the NBA and the NFL, again, for example, they're in 30-plus markets, so they're a national sport overnight. Our sport has grown east to west. There's 6 million fans and 2.2 million participants in the U.S. If we were capturing only 6 specific cities, then we would be more exclusive, and we wanted to be inclusive with our sports growth.
Wow, so it's like an all-star game every time you're playing.
That's right. That's right. So all of our fans will get access to 3 games over a weekend, and there's a scarcity component too, versus going into a same market over an entire season. We only go into that market once over the course of the year.
So tell me about the players. Who are the players?
Yeah, I mean, we have the best players in the world. They're all come from Division 1, 2, and 3 programs where they were highly successful. At the same time, our players are very diverse, come from challenging backgrounds where they've had to earn becoming professional athletes, and so we plan to tell that stories. People don't often realize that lacrosse is the oldest indigenous sport in North America, and a lot of our players come from those roots. It was created by Native Americans, and we plan to tell those stories. This isn't just a sport that's being grown along the Northeast corridor in prep schools anymore. And a lot of our players come from those different backgrounds where they've had to really earn their keep here, and we plan to tell those stories of our awesome players.
Now, you also just announced a partnership with the Women's Lacrosse League.
Yes.
What's that about?
Yeah, so to Mike's point, diversity and inclusion is really important to us. So telling those stories, not only of our players, but also aligning with other major properties in lacrosse. So I mentioned the WPLL. This is now their second season, and we wanted to, out of the gate, structure a partnership with them where we could work to co-host events, develop youth initiatives with both their women's and our men's players, and then do some CSRs or potentially go to brands out in the market that were interested in both men's and women's sports. So it's going to be a walk-run effort, but we know that those types of partnerships are not only core to our mission and the WPLL's mission, but we think for the greater good of the game's growth. Another partnership that we just announced is with our national governing body in U.S. Lacrosse. And we continue to look at ways to build bridges despite launching a new league from scratch.
Now, the season begins June 1st. Have you selected the cities yet?
We have.
Oh.
And we're going to be announcing them very soon.
Oh, stay tuned for that.
Yeah, very soon.
Okay, so day one will be here before you know it.
Yes.
Are you in the final stretch here? What do you have to do? How are you gearing up for it?
Yeah, now we're operating. Now we're executing. We make time for important things like coming and seeing you, Judy.
Yes.
But we have an operating plan we have to execute against. We're hiring some new key executives as well. And June 1st is around the corner, which we're very excited about, but we have certain internal milestones that we're checking off our checklist every day. What I'm most personally excited about, though, is our broadcast with NBC. I think one of the greatest benefits of working with NBC is they actually invest their time and thought and empirical history into a new broadcast. And so not only do they have this empirical history of performing with other sports leagues, but they also want to take that and apply it to sort of a new way of thinking through the broadcast. So our broadcast is going to be innovative, and we're going to show sort of the players under the helmets while they're on field, things that people have never seen before in sports.
Oh, I can't wait. This sounds so exciting. So what do you want to tell your fans?
Well, you can follow us at PLL on Instagram, at Premier Lacrosse on Twitter, and then go to our website, PremierLacrosseLeague.com. We're constantly updating with news as well as player unveils, and coming up shortly, we had mentioned our locations, as well as our team marks. We're building lacrosse clubs and team formations. So building a league, it's very complex, so there's a lot to share, so I would encourage everyone to follow us.
Great. Well, can't wait. Looking forward to it, and the best of luck to both of you.
Thanks for having us, Judy.